Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. So I really do appreciate it, bless you. I'm coming back again. This is the penultimate little play with the special days. This is Happy Moo-ther's Day with this beautiful sort of really messy cow with the little scruffy hair and the flowers and everything. So you've got two large toppers. You've got this beautiful big sentiment that says, a mother's love and tender care makes happiness bloom everywhere. You've got your little sort of button there with the cow on. You've got to someone special, hugs and kisses, have a moveless day, Happy Moo-ther's Day, and then you've got the smaller topper there. You've got this beautiful foiled piece with those beautiful foiled flowers on both of the corners. Super useful. And then you've got the printed version with the mum and the baby cow there. And then the insert is the same again. So yeah, I'll use that one, so I'll keep that one on the top. Okay, so for the first card, what I thought I would do is, because that topper, let me just bring it in and show you. This topper with the frame is so large. I sort of ummed and ahed about whether I was going to just use it without the frame, but I decided in the end to do a 5x7 easel card. So this is just under 5 inches across, and it's just over 6 inches long. So a 5x7 is going to be perfect. So let's bring in my little scoreboard. Sorry about the creaky chair. And we're just going to score that at the halfway point, which is 3.5, because it's 7 inches long. And we can just give that a little burnish down. And this is ink me cardstock. I did buy an A3 pad for DT work as well as my normal crafting, but so this is the ink me cardstock, and you can see beautifully folds and everything, so it's perfect for this. So let's bring in the trimmer, and I've got a piece of, it is gold, yes it is gold, gold A4 mirror card. And I need to do a piece that's to fit 5x7 on the bottom, so I'm just going to take 2 notches off the 5 and 2 notches off that 7. Just put that into my bit box. So that should go quite nicely there. And then this piece here is 3.5 by 5. So if I take 2 notches off the 3.5 and then take that to 2 notches under the 5, oops, it's gone for a wander, and then that should fit quite nicely onto there. I'm not going to do a full panel. I'm going to have, you know how I like to sometimes just have something coming over the top. I just want that bit of airflow through it, you know how I like that a little bit too much really. So the insert itself, I'm going to cut it roughly to size on here, and then I'll trim it with the guillotine, because my guillotine only goes up to 6 inches. So if I take that to, I'll take it to size just on the wrong side of the line, so it's just slightly bigger. And so it's going to be 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And actually it's cut it nicely, so this is a new blade, so maybe that's why. Okay, we won't bother recutting that down with the guillotine, so that's never happened before. Okay, and then I'm going to take this cardstock here, taking the printed one, and I'm going to take that to 4 3/4 rather. And I think I will take the fence bit, so I'm going to cut this at 3 1/4. So the original one was 3.5. We've just taken 2 notches off each time. So we've got our little bit of fence on there, and then obviously that piece is going to go on the bottom. We've still got a decent sized card piece there. It's 4 3/4 by 5, so I could do a 4x4 card, you know, using the topper pads, little pocket pads, anything like that. There's also the little book as well, so I could also chop into that and make a topper for it. Okay, so the glues I'm going to be using today, I've got the Kalau Tacky glue, which is this white water-based one. I've got the Kalau all-purpose glue, which is the alcohol-based one, similar to the construction glue. They're both made from that alcohol base. And because I've got the paper insert, I'm going to be using the permanent dots tape pen as well. So let's start and get these layered up, and then we can get those toppers on and have a little play with the finished look of the card. So pop that on and in. Then for this one, just some dots in the corner. I've gone a bit super generous there. And really, this alcohol glue, this all-purpose glue, would be enough to stick this down. But those dots, just make sure that stays in place while I'm moving on with the card. I shouldn't have to worry about it moving. So once I've got that where I want it, I can just pop those dots down, spread that glue out in the middle so that it's nice to write on. Although we will have a stopper on there as well to keep our little easel up. And then this one, I'm just going to go back to my normal glues. Got some new things to film as part of the DT for this weekend, so I'm super excited about that. So you will see this on Sunday, I think. But as we speak, it's Thursday when I'm filming this. I try and get a bit ahead so that I can do the DT videos as well. I didn't do so well. I think I only managed one on the last little job because I'd been poorly. But I'm hoping to get into a routine and bring that extra content. It's a bit exciting to see what comes up, isn't it? It's I always like to see what's coming up. I'm nosy that way. Now, because I want to make this into a birthday card, I have got somebody in mind for this. Not one of my friends, actually. It's my older sister's friend who lives in Bristol. She loves Highland cows. So I'm thinking, rather than using the Mother's Day sentiment of using this, have a moveless day, and maybe even to someone special as well. I think you can use that as well. Oops, come out. There we go. So those and those. I may come back for that button with a little cowl on, but we will see. Okay. So I am going to just trim the pips on this in a second. I can see some of them are a little bit proud. And you have to let me know if you enjoyed Members Week. I did purchase some things that I needed. As always, forgot some things I needed. I wanted to get the you know, the little discs and the punch for I don't even know if it's still in stock, for making the little books, because I had an idea with that I thought might be quite cool in a video. So, but I keep forgetting. I really need to make a list of things that I need. Just pop that one there. Okay, So I'm thinking, so I want to keep this within the real estate of my card, but I do want it more towards the top so we can get one of these little sentiments in as well. So I'm thinking around about there. So let's just pop that over. So I can still see a little pip there. That's annoying. So sometimes you need to cut them off. Sometimes you can just poke them down with your nail. And sometimes you can just use a little sanding block. Something like that. Okay, so I'm thinking around about there is the top point on there. I did prepare loads of these little strips beforehand today. Okay. So let's just pop these round. We'll give it a nice amount so that there's a nice amount of sturdiness there. Oops. And last one there. So as always, I'm going to use a bit of that tacky glue on there just to give me a little bit of wiggle room time. Put that in a little bit. Don't have to use the tacky glue or the water-based glue. You could use, if you've got a Hunkydory glue stick, you could use that. You could use the alcohol-based glue, the all-purpose glue, but that is, I think, the more expensive of the glues, so hence, where possible, I do try to use the cheaper ones. Okay, so I'm just going to put my fingers where the top of those pads are. We should be able to just pop that into place, maybe and about there. Doesn't quite look straight. Let's try putting the card straight, that might help for a start. Right, so this is why we use that tacky glue, so that we can just pop that up again and we get a second bite of that cherry, getting that into place, because the foam pads stick like the stickiest thing ever known to earth. So I'm just taking this one out. I will pop it in the middle so it just gives us a little bit of a guideline of where we're going. Just want to make sure we get rid of those fluffy bits at the top, fluffy bits at the bottom, and I'm going to use these 2mm ones just to make it easy for myself. I'll pop them on the actual card themselves. Takes all the guesswork out of trying to figure out where they need to go. And I am going to put a nice amount on there for support, and it's going to help keep that nice and straight. Okay, so I'm going to pop that back in so that that's down. Let's pop that underneath so that that goes. And then I can pop these off, take these backs off. And this sort of card comes together quite quickly. Oops, that one flew on the floor. Again. Nice amount of that tacky glue. You want to make sure that most of your foam pad is covered. But you don't want it to be dripping wet, because sometimes that can, if it is really, really saturated, it might soak through to your cardstock. Even though this is the best cardstock for a topper that I have ever come across in my 20 years old of crafting. Right, let's pop that one out. That can go to the brownies. the brownies is like a little, I think in America you have like venture scouts and that sort of thing, don't you? That's what the brownies are for us in the UK. It's like the younger range. I think there is like a group before the brownies, but it's brownies and guides, and then there's something else as well after that. Okay, so I'm going to pop this, where do I want that to go? I think I want those little eyes just coming over the top, because that is quite funny. And I'm going to use these 2mm pads on here, so we've got a nice amount of lift. So let's see if I can get 3 on. Yeah, I can. And there's sort of guesswork really on what you're comfortable with as to the angle of this. Now I am going to cover a little bit of our young man up here, or young lady, but we will still see her peeking at the bottom, so we can just see both of their eyes, which is quite cute. And then I think, let's pop that down so we can play. I think I'm going to come over the top of there. Pop 1mm on there. And 2mm on there, just to make up for that difference in size. No, I haven't forgotten the tacky glue, don't worry. Okay, so pop a nice amount on there. Do someone special. I kind of want the point coming in that arch. I think that is going to be perfect. And then I have got these hot pink gems, which I have been dying to use because I just didn't know where else I was going to be using these, because they are so bright. So I'm just going to go with 1 in each corner there. I'm going to go for these medium ones, I think. Like so, and these are nail gems, so they are super sparkly. Pop that up, hopefully they're not going to slide because there is quite a lot of glue there. And then I'm going to pop 1 sort of larger one in the middle. Let's see. Come on, you've got to come out and play. Pop those in there like so. And that is going to be card number 1. So let's just pop that up so that you can see it. Oops, turn a little more. There we go. So that is going to be our little 5x7 easel card. It's going to fit quite nicely into a 5x7 envelope, but I just like having that bit of air flowing through, because you get that little bit of breeze catching it, and that gold foil just really just sparkles. So that is card number 1. I'm just going to get it set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, I thought I'd do like a little Z fold card, 6x6 envelope. That's my thinking. So I've got a piece of 6x12 cardstock, and then I've got a little offcut from something else I did, which is 2 inches by the 12. So if I grab my scoreboard, what I'm going to do is score at 3 and at 6. So it's the same as if you're doing a fold back card. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on here. So 3 and 6. So whatever size card you're doing, obviously you're going to divide that in half. So if you were doing an 8x8 card, you would score at 4 and 8, and you'd do exactly the same on this piece. It would obviously have to be exactly the same length. You can work it where it is slightly different in length, and have a little gap each side. You know, that's, if you want to do it that way, you can do. I have done that before and sort of soften the hard end by using a sentiment topper or something like that. So what I'm going to do is just give this a nice burnish down, and then same again here. Oops. Come on, you need to fold back. There we go. There you can see you've got your little fold back there, and then all you're going to do with this piece is turn that around the opposite way to the way you're doing that fold, so that you've got that piece that comes out like that. And you can have that at the top, you can have it at the bottom, you can have it at the top and the bottom, you can have it in the middle, wherever you like. Sky's the limit. Okay, so I'm going to start with a gold mirror mats. So because the way this card is, we need to decorate all of it, so it is going to be 12 by 6 and a bit more for that strip. So this one here, that's going to be 6 by 6. So I'm going to take 2 notches off the 6 on 2 of the sides, and that's just going to give you that fine border, fine white border that I like all the way around. If you don't want a white border, then you can take a 6 by 6 mirror mat and just mat on top if you want. Okay, this piece here, this side piece, that's 3 by 6. So I'm going to take 2 notches off the 3 and 2 notches off the 6. And I think what I'll do, where's that piece here? Is that, what's the length on that? So this here, obviously we want a piece that's going to be 2 by 6. And then I'm not going to decorate this piece here, I don't think. May change my mind. Actually, yeah, let's decorate it. Let's not be stingy. And then these two are 3 by 2. So if I start by cutting this piece down to 2 notches under the 2, I can do 2 notches under the 6. Got a piece there. Let's see, I think all the other bits are going to be too small. So let's take this one now. And just take that to 2 notches under the 2. And then we want 2 notches under the 3. And we want 2 of those. Okay. So that is the gold layers. Now let's turn to the insert. I think I am going to use the picture of that insert, because when I pop this over the top, we are going to have, and the card is open, you will have those little cows poking their head out. So if I take this, hopefully this will cut it like it did the other one. Now I want it to, it probably won't. But we're going to take this to 5 3/4 square, obviously keeping the fence at the bottom. So there still will be that ability to write on that a little bit. It's still like a normal card. So, you know, you've still got that there. Okay, and then I think, let's have a look at that other card stock. I don't think I want to cut into the printed piece. I think I'm going to keep that and make that into a card in its own right. But I am going to cut into this one. So I'm going to start by taking a piece that is 2 3/4, and that is going to be 5 3/4. And I am going to cut across there, so that will be that piece there. Now I am going to take this piece here, and I'm going to use this as one of my pieces on, actually we'll keep that foil in, one of my pieces on my band. Might put that one on the back, and there. Okay, now again for this piece here, I need this to be 1 3/4. So I'm going to cut that along there. I'm going to take this piece to be 2 3/4. So that's going to be that piece in there. Might even turn it around. We'll see how that looks when we start gluing that together. And then hopefully, this is going to be too short, so we'll take another piece. So 1 3/4. And then that needs to be 5 3/4 to go across that band there. Okay, so now we've got all of our pieces. These bits here, you know, I can use them as a border. I've still got a piece here that's over 5, so I could do another 5 by 7. Alright, so plenty of scope still to cut into that card and use it. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the back on here. So put that into there, like so. I'm going to give that a minute or so just to settle, and while it's doing that, what I'm going to do is glue these bits on. So of course these bits should be pretty straightforward. It's just going to be a question of layering them on. And put this one here. Just gone over the edge with the glue there, so just clean that off with my finger. And then we've got the long piece there, just checking I'm going the right way. I am. And it's all Hunkydory Goldberry card. It's just some came from A4 packs and some came from the Miri Matte pad, so sometimes the backing looks a bit different, but it is the same gold card. I'm just thinking, how do I want that to go? Maybe thinking we should go something like that for that one, so it's going for the into the pink. I think I'll go that way. That one. Okay. And if you don't want the sort of so much of the corner on there, you could have, you know, could have gone a bit more with the blue instead. Depends on how you want your card to look. You've got options. And as I always say, you can come in, emboss this cardstock if you want to. I'd say 2D embossing folders tend to work better with it. If I'm embossing with a 3D embossing folder, I tend to just take a little bit of the pressure out of it. Just because sometimes if I put too much pressure on with my Gemini 2, I do find that it pushes the white core all the way through, which can be nice if that's the look you're going for. It's not always the look I'm going for, but like I say, my Gemini 2, it is a beast. It is very, very powerful. Okay, so we're going to pop that one out of the way just to settle down. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, now let's come in with my insert on the back piece here. So glue dots again, because we're using that paper, and then my all-purpose. we can come in, float that into position, and just give that a good press down. The good thing about the dots as well is that you do get that little bit of sort of buyer's remorse time, I like to call it, because if you pop it down and you sort of come away for a second and then you look at it from a different angle, like say this one, I can see it has moved a little bit. Sometimes when you put things to the top of your desk, you see a bigger gap than you want, but with the dots you can still take that up. Even with that being paper, you still do get a little bit of time. I wouldn't leave it too long though, because then you're running the risk of tearing your paper as you pick it up, which can be a bit of a disaster. But you do get a bit of time. I can just see that popping up. Let me just pop that onto there, and what I'm going to do is pop my glue ball on, just to hold it down. I could use a clamp. I should have put a couple of dots on, but it'll be fine, it will stick. I think what I'll do is put those up to the top side. And we can turn that around, just make sure I'm happy with that border. Okay, so let's get our topper ready. So I am going with the big one, and I will trim that up, and I am going with this big one as well. The Mother's Love and Tender Care Makes Happiness Bloom Everywhere. I'm going to save the Happy Moo-ther's Day and the Hugs and Kisses, because I will still make a couple of other cards with this. Now let's just neaten up those pips. And all I'm doing is just running my scissors along that edge, just to catch anything. And I think sometimes it's easier to see once you turn it over, because the white, especially like I've got a pink mat, so it's easier to spot once you've turned it over. Okay, now let's see, have you stuck down? I think that is looking good. Now what I want to do is pop this along the bottom, so I want those cows peeking over. So I'm going to take a little bit of these dots and then some all-purpose, and I'm going to start by popping that right about where I want that to be. I'm right on the edge of my card. I think that's quite a nice like amount for them to be popping their heads over. And then I can pop some dots on there, a little bit of glue. Remember, we're only going halfway because we've only got this little panel here. And all I need to do is just shut my card. Just make sure I'm happy with the angle. What could just going up. Just take that up. Like I say about these dots, you do get that little bit of time to change your mind. But I'm thinking that is a good place for that to be. Now I can see that's moved again a little bit. Let me just see if I can get that to. This is the benefit and the drawbacks of using wet glues, in that when you're moving on with your projects, sometimes they do like to try and move on you. So you do have to just try and keep a little eye on them. So I am going to come over with that one and I'm going to pop that one at the back, so we will cover a little bit of that inset up, but that is the plan. Or we could go save that one. Let's see, maybe I should go with Moo-ther, change them. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, that's going to be better actually. Let's do that, and then we don't cover up any of our little cow. And I've got that nice large one. It'll be quite a statement on the printed or the foiled cardstock. Right. Okay, so this one at the back is going to be nice and simple. 1mm foam pads. Just going to pop those onto there. Let's move that out of the way because we've already changed our mind on that one. And apologies, I did think initially that the cow would be a little bit further over, maybe even hidden. So with him being the little kitty cow, junior cow, being there, I just swap it out with that different sentiment. It's going to look better. There we go. And then this one again. So what I can do is pop some 1mm ones along the bottom, and if I pop another one there, I should be able to get away with that. Nothing's come over, that's good. Okay, so let's take these off. The benefit of having this sort of Z fold piece that comes along here, you know, you've got that extra bit of support for your topper. Or even if you had more than one topper that you wanted to use, you could definitely have one coming up above here if you wanted. But that is how that card is looking. I actually think that could do with being straightened a little bit. You know how fussy I am about these things. We'll leave it there. Okay, shall I go with those pinks again? I think I will, because it's not going to be very often I'm going to be able to get away with using a hot pink like this. So I'm thinking I don't want too much on the back because that's going to add to the thickness of the card. So this is already going to be quite a chunky card. So let's pop those three there. And then I'm going to go with a smaller one up there and the next one down. There we go. Yeah, that's going to look good. So let's just move those over. Blue's decided to have a little spit. And like I say, these are nail gems, so they are super sparkly. So let's just move you up a little bit. And then if I move you over, now if you wanted to put a little sub-sentiment in there, maybe like thank you for all you do, something like that, there is still space along here, or even on one of these, but I would say don't go too high because as you can see that is quite a chunky card. As it is, it will go in a just slightly larger 6x6 envelope really well, or you could use Hunkydory have the 6x6 sort of they're not box envelopes, but they are they've got two sizes, a 1 inch and a 1/2 inch I think as well. I would go for the 1/2 inch on those. I have used them, they are brilliant. But that is card number 2. Let's bring back in our moverless one. So that's our little easel there. So those are the cards for today. That is for Moo-ther's Day, isn't it? Happy Moo-ther's Day. I have got that big topper left there. I've got that small topper, the little button, the hugs and kisses, and I've got the foiled cardstock and a piece of that printed, and the other sides to the inserts there. So I will make up cards with those. They will go up on Pinterest tomorrow. Usually around about 6 o'clock is when I time them for. And then the next one, or the last one, is the wedding day. Is it called Happy Wedding Day? No, Wedding Day Wishes. So that's the one with the car and the dove and the champagne and that sort of thing. So we will have a play with that next time, just to finish this whole collection out. Please do remember, if you haven't got this collection or you're not wanting to buy the collection, you know, you can still take the inspiration. If you've got any of these kits that Hunkydory have done in the past, at the beginning of the year they usually bring out this whole big kit that's meant to cover the big occasions over the year. So you know, you may have an older kit that you can use these ideas on. You know, that's the whole thing, just to get you thinking, using up those kits, because nobody wants those kits to sit in a box. You know, get them out, make sure you're giving them to somebody special, or you're giving them to somebody to give them to their someone special. As a sort of random act of kindness or that sort of thing. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.